So, if any of you have kept up with me on Twitter and stuff, you know I lost my microphone. Got my microphone back. We also got something else new in store to you. Last time we were at the yard, we were told to go to a brand new truck. So, I get to show you around our brand new 2018 freightliner Cascadia. So, stay tuned. You'll get to see an inside sneak peek at a 2018 Cascadia. Now that you got a taste of the outside, let's take a look at the inside that makes it work. Here is our brand new DD15 engine. As you can see, some things have changed in here from the last engine we had to this one. The first one, the most obvious, is the size of the coolant tank and where it's at. It's actually a little bit higher up. It's also a completely clear one. Almost looks like it's even smaller than the last one was. Oil reservoir right here. You've got, this is the steering. They've added this, and I think that's actually a real shock absorber on this. We have noticed that there's a little bit less vibration when you drive down the road or when you're parked. Here's power steering, and a lot cleaner than the last one was. Here is the fuel filter right there. The rest of the stuff is about the same, at least on this side. A couple other extra lines here, and of course this is all nice and clean, but if you look where they have the turbo and the air, there's a big gap now between it, so that's different from what the last ones had. Let's come around to the other side. We'll show you some of this stuff out here. And one thing that they did change was they changed where the air dryer is. It's now over on this side. They used to have it on the left side of this, but that's also where our company used to have the spare oil reservoir, and that is no longer here. As you can see, there's another filter dryer there, so we've got that whole setup here. That is still the same, but as you can see, much cleaner engine. That's what happens when you get a truck with less than 80 miles. This one's got less than 6,000 at this point. We've driven it for about a week now. So, all right, let's take you back inside the truck. Well, now that we are inside the truck, I get to show you some of the new stuff that they've added to this truck. First off, I mean, look at the steering wheel. This almost looks like a steering wheel now. All these different controls, buttons. They even have the Bluetooth on this. If you look, all the different screens up there. Put that down so you can see it better yourself. Now we take a look, and immediately there's a lot of differences between this one and the last. For starters, all nice clean gauges on this one, but they've added a few things. Like if you look at the fuel gauge, you have two needles now. One is for your actual diesel level, and the blue one is for your DEF level. Before, it used to just be a stick gauge, and you would just see basically a line of 4 boxes on the bottom underneath it, and it was green if it was had all 4 or 3 of them. Once it reached half or 2 of them, it would have it in yellow, and once it reached red, you were on 1, which meant you needed to fuel up the DEF soon. If you look, there's a lot of different displays on this, and trying to get it so you can see it better. It's kind of hard to get it, but as you can see, we can select through all of this. The only reason it's 6.6 right now is because we've been idling for today. That's the trip, that's the leg, that's the total. You can even see the outside temperature and how far we've gone with this. Like I said before, we got this when it was less than 80 miles. Look here, we have a digital speed gauge, which is interesting considering that top one is the speedometer as well, but we can get it a little bit closer and see exactly what we're doing. Different vehicle settings, the idle adjust, whether our differential locks are in place, whether the DPF needs a regen or not, different gauges, and of course these right here, and I can actually customize these in another screen. Then you go here, these are alerts. We don't have any alarms active right now. The different diagnostics on here, and engine maintenance, how long it's been since it was maintained. If you look, it does have the Bluetooth. We have this one disconnected right now, but it also has, that's all of our audio settings can be right here. So we can finally control all of that from the steering wheel and from this side without having to take our eyes off the road or the truck. And of course it has an alarm clock and all of the different settings right here. And if you look, dash, brightness, lighting, units that it goes in, the time, language, custom gauges, you know, that was that one screen before. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things on this, a lot of different bells and whistles. If you look down here, that is our air gauge. It used to be that there would be two of them, but now they just put two different needles on it. The top one is our primary and the blue one is the secondary, so we can see where they're at. And then there's your water temperature right there. We zoom back out and now you can see where they've moved a lot of our switches. All of them are pretty much right here now. Most of these work except for this one. It's a nice little switch that it's backlit for some reason, so we know that it's there but does nothing. But we've got our light test button, which will test all of the lights on the outside of the truck for us when we're doing our pre-trip, and it does them in a sequence and in a slow enough fashion that we can watch them. Then you've got the dome light, which is up top, the ambient light, which is up there, and the sleeper dome, so we can control that all from here. And this is the utility light on the outside. Then you've got the two air brake releases right there, the inner axle lock. This truck is a twin screw. It is not a tag axle. Then we have our kingpin release right here. Hold that for 3 seconds. You'll hear it pop. You're good to go. Then we've got our air wide height right here. Like I said earlier, trailers drop too high, or trailers drop too low, we can get underneath it. Then you have the environmental controls right there. Now, one thing that we're happy about is this. They added, finally, not one, not two, but 3 cup holders to the front. Anyone that has driven a Freightliner knows how much of a big deal that is, because they usually have 2 of them. And then up back here, we've got one other screen, one other display. That's for our front differential there, the temperature. And then you've got our brand new radio, which has the Bluetooth capability. They did change some of the inside stuff. Let me open this up so we can see. No more just pockets. They've got real cabinets. And they do go back a distance. In this one, our CB is right here because they don't have the placement for it up here anymore. They have these 2 slots, and then you have a lot of space up top. Here's another cabinet right here. There's another one right there, and one up at the top there, which my co-driver has first aid kit attached to. Much better layout in this truck than the last one, even where they have the dome lights. The dome lights are right here, the inside ones. These just go right straight down to the steering wheel, and I'll let you see that right there. Nice lighting. Doesn't interrupt anybody else. They don't have the red light anymore, but that is a difference from the last one. I will show you guys the living quarters at another time, but for now, that's it from the inside. Let's take a look at something on the outside. And now we are back outside the truck. As you can see, the front end is really where a lot of the changes have happened. I'm hoping you can hear me over the engine, but I've got that on just so you can hear it. The lights have been changed on this. One of the other big differences, we don't have the windows up top anymore. They also did change the grill right here. I'm hoping I'm not moving too fast. Another change right here with the mirrors. A lot more aerodynamic shape, leaving it cowling around these so that it protects it from the wind when you're going down the road. As I said before, this one is a not a tag axle anymore. That means, yes, that is the correct differential on this now. Oh, we love having that. It doesn't slip and slide as much. And you can take a look back here. You can see the difference. Drivetrain goes all the way back. The last one only went to those wheels. And as you can see, here's our fifth wheel. Now, if you're wondering what that is, we had a damaged trailer that we had to take care of on the road because otherwise it would have been outside of the vehicle. It literally was in the way. Much cleaner, much better. And we've only had it a little while. You can see what diesel can do just in a little bit. So, figured I'd show you at least a little bit around the outside of the truck. And that is it for me. Alright, now I'm back with you. I actually had to go inside, get myself a little bit of something to eat. Got myself some oatmeal here and actually got myself some hot chocolate. It's about 57 degrees outside right now, so figure why not. One, to clarify one of the things I talked about on the outside. The stuff that is on the catwalk. What happened was we were driving through Wyoming. It was not too far past Laramie, and I happened to look in the driver's side mirror and noticed that the trailer skirts, which almost all of our trailers have trailer skirts. In fact, I don't think any of them don't anymore. Part of it had come detached from the mounting brackets that hold it to the trailer, hold it underneath. And the front part was doing this. It was bending out, and it bent out at least 2 to 3 feet into the road. The only thing that probably prevented it from ripping the entire thing off was the trailer dolly handle that was there to lower the trailer landing gear. That was the only thing keeping it from bending any further back. What we ended up doing was we ended up having to break the thing off because otherwise we didn't have any way to secure it. So what we did was we took it off, then we tried to put it onto the back of the truck itself by where our load locks are. Couldn't fit there, so we had to break it again, and now we place it on the catwalk till we can find a place to dispose of it. Wasn't going to throw it out in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road. That's just not right. And it's one of those things. There are certain things that are out here that you have to take care of the public rather than your vehicle at that point. Because if anyone would have hit that, that could have been bad news. Heck, I could have hit another truck with that without even knowing it, hit another car with it. Or I could have gotten a ticket off of it because it's something that's hanging off the vehicle and it's very clearly visible. It was very easy to see through the mirror. So that was something that, wanted to clarify that. Now, not everything is great in this truck. There's a couple issues that we have. One, there's a sticky brake on this thing, and it will stop the vehicle as if you hit something. And when we're trying to back into a place, that is the last thing you want to feel happen. It's happened to us a couple times. We're trying to figure out what it is. We may have to take it to the shop to have them figure it out. Another issue, when we have this thing parked and turned off, if someone opens up either door from the outside, whether the key's in the ignition or not, it'll beep the horn. We don't know why, we don't know what the setting is, but it'll beep the horn. That's not a good thing to have happen when you have a bunch of truck drivers sleeping next to you. So we have to keep this thing idling for the most part when we're parked, otherwise it's just going to wake everybody up. One of the things I forgot to mention, we have our air horn again. So that was a nice little feature that got added to this one. Haven't really tested out the city horn because, to be honest with you, the city horn is almost useless for a truck driver if you have the air horn. Most of the trucks can't even hear the city horn. It has and I don't know if this is my company's doing or if this is how it comes. We have an econ mode on this thing. When it gets to certain speeds, it can coast, and it can coast quite a distance. if it gets over 65 miles per hour, especially if it turns off the engine, you can coast a while. The problem is that it'll also do this now when it's coming up a hill, gets near the top, and it just dumps the entire accelerator, it just dumps the clutch. It's like, okay, I'm going to coast here. That could be a problem when you've just passed somebody, because now they're not expecting you to slow down all of a sudden. So this thing, we've found some of our issues that we have with it. I don't know if any of them are real issues or if they are things that were designed with them. There's very few in my company that have this type of truck. So if any of you out there that are listening have a 2018 Cascadia, tell me some of the issues that you've got. If you know somebody that has them, have them comment, have them look at this. Maybe they're experiencing the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me, and I will see you next episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell for more notifications. Raven out.